In quick game protection, all offensive linemen are tasked with aggressively blocking the defensive front, allowing the quarterback enough time and space to quickly throw the football. We block it aggressively because the quarterback drop will be much shorter and quicker than a regular pass, and penetration from the defense will greatly decrease the chances of our success. Some need-to-know terms as we progress throughout this tutorial. EML, in man on the line of scrimmage. When we talk about defenses, we may abbreviate the in man on the line of scrimmage as an EML. Cut block, a block by an offensive lineman in which he aggressively attacks the defender below the waist. Slide, a protection technique in which all offensive linemen move as one in the same direction, forming a moving wall. It is this slide protection that we will use in our quick game protection. Let us start with our loo protection. In our loo protection, our offensive line will slide left, usually the called throw side. Protection keys. All offensive linemen must move in unison and as one. In this case, to the left. The play side tackle must cut the defender, otherwise known as the EML, the end man on the line of scrimmage. And the running back must be aggressive and tight to the backside, EML. Let's take a look at how this might look. Here we have our play side tackle, because it's Lou, our left tackle, cutting the EML. This creates a clear line of sight for our quarterback. Our guard will also slide left. He has an immediate threat in his gap in a 3 technique. While a Mike linebacker or some type of stunt in the interior defensive line could happen, his immediate threat is going to be that 3 technique. Also important to note, he has no threat in the gap that he left. Therefore, he can immediately get to where he needs to be to protect his gap. Our center. Now our center is a bit different. He does have an immediate threat in his initial alignment. So prior to him getting to his gap, he should punch with his right hand to gain control of this shade defender so that our guard, when our guard slides, can have easier access. This should not be a blind slide by the center where he just slides to his left without helping our guard. Why? Because he has no immediate threat. There is no urgency for him to get there. Again, this tackle could stun into this gap. The Mike linebacker could blitz here. The Buck linebacker could blitz. However, those are not immediate and noticeable. So that center, prior to his slide, should punch with his right hand and slide to his left. Our guard does have an immediate threat, again, not where he's leaving, but where he is going. So there's no need for him to delay, to punch, to look to help where he's leaving. He can immediately get to his gap. Now remember, our center also punched prior to sliding, so there should be a really good opportunity for our guard to be in really good position for that particular block. Our tackle, like our center, has an immediate threat to his outside. However, we also know the running back will be coming for that particular player. So our running back, given that he does not have an immediate threat to his gap, should still punch and then slide. And when we say punch, we're just talking about punching with your, in this case, your right hand, almost pushing off to where you're going to slide to. Could this nose guard eventually stunt Could the buck linebacker initially or eventually get into that gap? Yes, but they are, again, not immediate threats. So our tackle will simply punch and slide. Now you can see clearly here that our running back must attack tight without delay. So altogether, we have a sliding line in the direction of Lou, left, and a running back protecting the backside edge for the quarterback. All this creating a line of sight for the quarterback to throw our quick passing game. Let's look at some issues. Can you identify what the issue is with this Lou protection? If you guessed that the running back went too wide, you are correct. This creates a clear and fast lane to the quarterback, and as a result of a lack of understanding of the scheme and or anticipation by our running back. And when this happens, which is a very common issue, it gives our EML an inside track to the quarterback, which is not something desired by the offense. Let's look at our Roy protection. Again, in our Roy protection, converse to the Lou protection, we will slide to the right, to the called throw side. This is when the coach is anticipating a throw to the right, but again, as you'll see when we get into our passing concepts, the quarterback has a mirrored opportunity in our quick game to throw right or left, depending on the routes and depending on the access. However, in this case, our Roy is called, and therefore our offensive line will slide to the right. We'll start with our play side tackle. Our play side tackle should be sure to cut down the EML to get the quarterback the best line of sight possible. Our guard, as we discussed previously, has an immediate threat to his inside, as you can see. He has no immediate threat to the gap that he is assigned to. It does not mean that he should disregard his assigned gap, but it does mean that he should punch and go. This will help our center gain control as he begins to slide into his gap. Our center, on the other hand, has no immediate threat in the gap that he's leaving, but he does have an immediate threat in the gap that he is responsible for. With the help of the guard who punched and then slid, our center should immediately slide into that gap. Our left guard, much like our right guard, has an immediate threat in the gap that he's leaving, but there is no threat in the gap that he is responsible for. Therefore, while not disregarding his responsibility, he should get a punch on this 3 technique as he slides into his gap. This will help our left tackle gain control of his gap. Our left tackle, he's got a dual threat. He must immediately take care of his immediate responsibility, knowing that our EML backside is accounted for by the running back. So there will be no punch. He should immediately slide into this gap as it is his primary responsibility. Our running back is responsible at all times in our Lou and Roy protection for the backside edge. He must be tight and aggressive, attaching to the tackle's outside leg. Altogether, it would look like that, a moving wall, if you will, creating a clear line of sight for our quarterback. See if we can identify the issue that occurs on this Roy protection. If you guessed that the left guard slid the wrong way, you would be correct, creating a huge gap for our Mike linebacker to attack the quarterback. So in this scenario, either our guard does not understand the gap protection, or he is sliding the wrong way, maybe misheard the call. So either way, this commonly occurs when offensive linemen get a player over them and they forget that they don't have a man, they have a gap. Here's how this might look in real time. Catastrophic indeed. Here we'll take a closer look at our quick game protection. The call is Lou. We would expect immediately that our left tackle, the play side tackle, would cut as he is and getting the hands down of the defender. He does a fantastic job and therefore creates a clear passing lane for the quarterback. The rest of the line, because it's Lou, will slide left. You can see the aggression holding the line of scrimmage, allowing the quarterback to feel comfortable and at ease as he's making his progressions. Now our running back took a fine path, but could have done a better job as far as being aggressive and not allowing upfield penetration by the defense. In the end, however, the quarterback has a nice clear path to throw. The offensive line did a decent job of protecting, and we get a complete pass. Once again, the call is Lou. We would expect our left tackle to get the hands down of this defender. We would expect our running back to get to this edge, and we expect our offensive line to all slide to the left. As we watch the play develop, we'll see our tackle immediately go for the legs of the defender, and you'll notice the clear path that our quarterback has to make his progressions. We'll also notice the rest of the line does a really nice job of sliding to their left. Number 52, however, gets a little too engaged with the one technique, and while he did not have an immediate threat in the B gap, he should have been a little more conscious of this gap in case a linebacker or the defensive end were to take that gap. Fortunately, that didn't happen, and we have a good job by the offensive line. Now, the problem is our running back. There are several issues with his progress here. Issue number one, way too passive. When we stop our feet, we allow penetration into the quarterback's lap and into possibly his throwing lane. This is not what we want. Issue two, his path is way too wide, creating a crease. In this case, about a 2-yard lane between our right tackle and where he should be. Our running back should be on the right leg of number 57. So our running back's left leg should literally be on the right leg of number 57. Instead, he's 4 yards deep and about 3 yards too wide. This allows a clear and concise path to the quarterback, as we saw in our demonstration, which in this case wasn't a problem. However, it could have been in a different game or even a different play. So that is a problem. Here we have a Roy call. In this particular case, our right tackle then is going to be tasked with getting the hands of that defender down. Okay. Assignment, we can check off the assignment box. However, the technique leaves something to be desired. Not only does he not get the hands down of the defender, as you can see, causing the quarterback to have to throw over, he also allows the defender pressure into the quarterback. Once again, our running back is a little bit too passive and a little bit too wide. Again, we should be attaching to the backside tackle. We have about a 2-yard gap where if this were a better defender, his rush lane is clear. That being said, in quick game protection, we always have an opportunity to get the ball off just because it's a catch and throw opportunity for the quarterback. Okay, here we have a Roy call once again. This time our right tackle does a much better job of getting the hands of the defender down and out of the quarterback's line of sight. He now has a clear path and a clear throwing lane in which to throw the football. Our offensive line does a really nice job of sliding. However, our center, as you can tell, allows far too much penetration. That is not a good situation for the quarterback. We would also like to see our center, as he's leaving his gap, just check backside, punch backside, ensuring that there is no backside penetration, and also helping his left guard. And the same could be true for the right guard. The right guard does not have an immediate threat. The immediate threat is the EML, the end man on the line of scrimmage. Therefore, he could have very easily, with his left arm, punched this shade, helping the center control his man. Once again, we have a Roy call. This time, our tight end does a very nice job of, again, there's the hands, getting the hands of that EML down, creating a clear throwing lane for our quarterback. And the rest of the line slides to the right. Our center had no immediate threat in his immediate A-gap to his slide side, his right side. Therefore, with his left arm, he should have punched hard that shade to help the guard who will be sliding over. Instead, we're blocking with 4 offensive linemen because he blocks no one. So, when uncovered, punch where you're leaving and get where you're going. This time we have a Lou call. Under center. This calls for a 3-step drop by the quarterback because we are under center. And because there are 2 backs, both backs will have an opportunity to attack the backside edge. However, in your particular offensive system, if you prefer to have a running back flare, that is coach's choice. Okay, this time our tight end could have done a better job of attacking the EML. Instead, he's kind of cutting on air. Okay, and I don't like to see offensive line retreat in our quick game protection. We want to see a good, hard slide to the play side. Here we have another Roy call. Okay, our right tackle gives great effort to get out to try to get underneath the waist of the EML. And while the technique wasn't perfect, he does do a very nice job of getting his hands down. So his assignment was taken care of. As you can see here, the quarterback has a very clear throwing lane. Once again, as has been the case here with several of our running backs, you can see we are still leaving too much space to the backside. And all it takes is one hit from that side where your quarterback is under pressure or in danger. And this time we have a Lou call. And in the Lou call, our left tackle now will get hands down. A very nice job, as you can see. And the rest of the offensive line will slide without giving any ground, which they do a very nice job of here. And again, you can see the lane that our running backs are giving is way too much. They should be attaching to the outside leg of the tackle, and instead they don't. Number 9 on defense hesitates. If he does not hesitate and follows his down block by the tackle, he probably gets a strip fumble, if not a sack at least, on the quarterback. Again, a Roy call. Very nice job. Hands are down, and this is a very nice angle where you can see the throwing lane, the pitch and catch that the quarterback has when done properly. Again, our left tackle and a Lou call. Our left tackle working hard. He submarines the EML. And again, a very clear throwing lane for the quarterback. This time our running back, his path is much better. Notice how he is attached now to the right tackle. Still would like to see him a bit more aggressive. And here we have a really nice job on a Roy call by our right tackle, aggressively getting into the legs of the EML. One error you can obviously see is our left tackle also cuts, which is not a major issue unless there's pressure coming from that B gap.